अब मैं तुम सबके साथ आई एम गोइंग टू डू अ प्रॉब्लम. ठीक है, सो लेट्स डू इट लाइव. अभी अभी सॉल्व करते हैं एंड अभी अभी फिक्स करने की कोशिश करते हैं. ठीक है, सो द क्वेश्चन इज, हाउ डू यू बिल्ड अ पेट मार्केट प्लेस फॉर फार्मर्स इन इंडिया. इतना ब्रॉड स्टेटमेंट है, मैंने इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं बोला है. दैट्स द ओनली क्वेश्चन दैट आई आस्क यू. हाउ डू यू बिल्ड अ पेट मार्केट प्लेस फॉर फार्मर्स इन इंडिया. इट्स अ प्रोडक्ट साइंस क्वेश्चन. तो मैंने पहली चीज क्या बताई, इफ यू लुक इन द लेफ्ट साइड डायग्राम, the first thing that I am saying is clarify कि what do you even mean by this statement. तो at a clarification stage just randomly put क्या क्या सवाल पूछ सकते हो तुम. Okay, let me start it by saying that maybe from a clarification state the first statement would be, yes, absolutely, Mayank Madan is right. What exactly is a pet marketplace? Does this marketplace means selling of pets or selling of services too? It is like vaccination services, post purchase services, or it's just about just selling of pets. What are the actors involved here? Okay, why are we building? What is the purpose of a pet marketplace? Fair enough. Which pet farmers gonna sell? Okay, what category of pets we are talking about? बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया. At that point I built a clarification question, right? Does it mean only farmers can buy or sell? Exactly. So I wrote down certain clarification points. Is it online? Very nice. So Ishan has written, is it online, is it offline? Very cool. So initially you will start thinking about, like, I wrote down certain assumptions while I was, because मैं कल क्या कर रहा था, while I was making the PPT for you, I was thinking, let's solve a random problem and see that where can we reach about it, right? So I wrote down certain assumptions. The first assumption is it just selling of pets on the platform, selling animals, or does it mean services related to animals such as insurance, vaccination, etc., abcd. Second, the same question that Ishan said, do you just mean a digital product or an ongoing product also, right? Third, do you essentially mean payments also happen online, etc., etc., etc.? And you can build as much as clarifying questions as much as possible. And if the interviewer doesn't give you an answer, then you automatically select, okay, in order to make the least possible MVP, my selection would be that I will only choose of selling of pets on the platform, not ancillary services like vaccination, insurance, etc. Second, I will try to do a digital product because offline stores requires a lot of investment. So initially in the MVP, I'll just do a digital product. Third is I will also ensure that the payments happen online because most of my farmers are now linked in India to the Jandan accounts where credit automatically happens. So I'll typically talk about that also. And you will make certain clarifying assumptions and you will ask the interviewer, does it make sense? Does it not make sense? So the interviewer will automatically tell you, हाँ यार, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, this makes sense. ठीक है? Are we looking at specific geo in India? Absolutely. That is also a very good question. That are we looking at specific geo in India or India as a country overall? Right? Awesome. So a lot of things, right? So you put out the clarification questions and you essentially solve them across. What does this show you, the interviewer? It shows that you're narrowing the problem statement to make it actionable. The next is, how can you now define the product mission or goal? Okay, so the way I have defined the product mission and goal is, I want to say that why it makes sense as a mission to do this. The first thing that you would essentially talk about is, like, I wrote the mission to build India's first digital marketplace for pets, which essentially deepens access to farmers in terms of pet quality, health, and ease of access. Abhi problem kya hai? Most farmers, when they have to buy pets, maybe chickens, cows, sheep, whatever they want to buy it, they have to go to nearby locations, right? That's one. There is quality control issues. There are no quality control problems. Then there are health issues. Then there are pricing issues. Then there is ease of access issues. Everything, right? So that's my mission, right? But what's my goal? There's a difference between a mission and a goal, right? Mission is like my long-term thing, that this is what I want to solve for, or I want to solve maths for 100 million students. What is my goal? A goal is that building a product which leads to unified experiences in pet discovery basically means you should be able to discover the pets that you want, and utilization for farmers, so that better pet discovery means better health of users, better health of pets. Better health of pets basically means to higher production yields and lower costs. So if you have the numbers around it, make your bet. Like, if you know the things about the industry, you can say that the pet utilization in the country is 30%. My goal is to increase it to 50%. Understood? So we will define the mission and the goal, right? It's okay you don't have if it's a hypothetical question, it's okay that you don't know all the answers or all the metrics of the goal. But if you are in the industry, it's a great thing that you can cite that across. तो अब मुझे बताओ, अकॉर्डिंग टू यू व्हाट शुड बी द मिशन और गोल? आई गॉट आंसर. सो मयंक Parashar is saying to help and leverage the farming population in India, 60% of population. Sahil Dua has written to build a marketplace for ease of doing business in selling and purchasing pets for farmers. Every pet should get a living home. Fair enough. All-rounder BA has written farmers be able to identify the different pets, count. All-round BA, it might not be the mission. Mission is generally a long-term statement, right? Arjun Dev has written to create India's farmer-friendly pet marketplace to buy and sell, and along with healthcare. बहुत बढ़िया. This is a very good statement. This will sell as a mission. Arjun Dev, amazing statement, right? So to create India's farmer-friendly pet marketplace to buy and sell animals along with healthcare services. Very cool statement. Amazing. अब guys, what's the goal? मिशन और गोल में अंतर ये होता है, मिशन लॉन्ग टर्म होता है, गोल का मतलब होता है वो एक्शनेबल है, इट हैज टू हैपन नाउ. लाइक a goal can be as simple as I want to increase the utilization of pet behavior or the pet utilization percentage for a farmer from 40% to 70%. अब हमने क्या किया, अब जिस भी क्वेश्चन में तुमने मिशन और गोल को क्लैरिफाई कर लिया, तो then you will move to the next part कि okay, now this makes sense, I have defined the goal, the interviewer would say makes sense, absolutely, let's move forward. What are the user segmentation? ठीक है. So if you start to doing the user segmentation, you essentially start thinking from two parts. That first, the user of this marketplace will be two parts, the buyer and the seller, right? So what I essentially tried to do is I started to break down the users into it. Like, who is the buyer? The buyer can be a small town farmer, which accounts for 80% of India, which buy an animal probably in 1 to 3 years, maybe a chicken, a hen, or an egg, or whatever it is, right? Then there is a medium scale farmer who buys and sell products maybe annually to yearly, which is like 10%. And then there is a large scale farmer, which essentially buys poultry monthly to quarterly, right? Similarly, from a seller side also, right? That small time farmers, medium scale farmers, large scale farmers who essentially sell their pets, right? Ideally, you should ask me to pick a segment with the most narrow and easy statement to make an impact. Now, how do you decide that? You essentially tell the interviewer, okay, the small time farmers have 3-4 problems, right? The first problem is they don't have per capita income to essentially buy them. Their transactions on the platform are going to be infrequent because they're going to come after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and simultaneously there is going to be a lot of haggling, lot of demand, lot of a very long purchase cycle. तो मैं अभी उन पे focus नहीं करूंगा because I know for a fact they account for a large volume, but in terms of the average revenue per user, it's very less. Medium scale, maybe I'll do. Large scale, I know for a fact that if I'm able to build a good product for large scale farmers, then ideally I will be able to penetrate the market with very little effort, maybe 10% of the effort, and I will essentially get like 20% of the revenue of the country. I know 80% I will not, but it's absolutely fine because I'm designing an MVP so that I can get the penetration into the system. Yahan tak baat clear hai. Now I want you guys to decide the user segments. Again, the things that I teach you, ye mere thought process se hai. You can completely design. So please guys, next 30 seconds, 1 minute, I'm stopping again. Do your user segmentation, put it in the chat. Anirudh Agarwal has written big farm owners, medium scale owners. Okay. Then Nitya has written first time pet owners, eco-friendly owners, small time farmers. Now, please try to understand that all of these, it is not just one segment. You have to think about the potentially all segments that you, and then you essentially have to prioritize. Landless farmers, first time pet owners, okay, middleman, large size farmers, very cool, right? So what I've essentially tried to do is from a marketplace standpoint, there is a buyer, there's a seller. From buyers, who are the people there? From a seller standpoint, who are the people there? Make sense? यहां तक सबको क्लैरिटी है, तो हमने यूजर सेगमेंटेशन भी कर ली. नाउ वी अंडरस्टूड कि यूजर्स गॉट सेगमेंटेड. ठीक है. नाउ इसेंशियली व्हाट वी हैव टू चूज इज दैट हु डू वी वांट टू बिल्ड फॉर. तो मैंने क्या किया, मैंने बोला कि ठीक है यार, द इजीएस्ट पार्ट हियर विल बी दैट आई वांट टू पिक द मोस्ट इंपैक्टफुल एंड द मोस्ट लीस्ट रेजिस्टेंट यूजर सेट. मेक सेंस? क्योंकि इनिशियली आई जस्ट वांट टू से दैट आई वांट टू मेक माय प्रोडक्ट सक्सेसफुल, राइट? So I went to the user needs part. Now, after I've decided the pets and I said the user segments, ki, okay, these were the user segments, sir. Now I have chosen the user segment, which is I am building for large scale farmers who do frequent transactions, who essentially don't have a problem with money, who are with 10% audience or 5% audience of the country, but they generate 20% of the revenue for the country. इतना बोल दिया ना, तो your interviewer will automatically understand that the interviewer has understood my problem. Now you go to the next step, which is like the user needs. What are the user needs of my this particular large pet buyer? So I wrote down those user needs yesterday. What are the user needs? The first is that this guy, because this person buys pets in bulk, right? So they want the pet healthy and vaccinated, quality check, definite user need. Second, wants the delivery of the pet ASAP, right? Now the problem is that these guys order in bulk, so they cannot wait, right? Because their business gets impacted. It's a large scale business, right? So they want the delivery of the pet ASAP. That's the second user need. Third, they also want a fair price because they're buying in bulk. They cannot pay astronomical prices. Third, fourth, they also need credit options, probably because these guys don't have like a very strong cash flow ingestion system and it works on a credit cycle. So for the growth of their business, they want credit options, and probably how they also need some content, right? That essentially how do they raise and make a pet productive, right? After they buying a pet, the behavior of the marketplace should not stop there, right? It should also help the user to essentially raise the pet and make it more productive in terms of production of goods like eggs, milk, and stuff like that, right? So essentially these are the user needs, and let's put it across from a pain point perspective. So from a pain point perspective, there is no way to check the health status of the pet besides WhatsApp groups. That's one. Has to get himself to get the pet delivered. In terms of, in case of supply crunch, has to pay astronomical prices, right? There are no credit options, and if there are, they are not in favorable terms. And fifth, there is a very poor post delivery experience. yahan tak sab mere sath aligned hai. Again, please tell me, according to you, what will be the user needs? तो अभी हमने क्या decide किया? We are going to build a pet marketplace, which is essentially going to improve the access and utilization across the country. We looked at the user segments. We said these are the user segments we are building for a large scale farmer. And now we essentially want to put across what are the user needs and the pain points. Manik Thakral is pet insurance, then would be other feature than if life expectancy is a pain point. Sure. Discounts on large scale buy. Sure. Medical checks if needed. These are not very good pet clinics which are reliable when the pet falls sick. Very cool. Amazing. Very important pain point. Now, अब हम क्या सोचते हैं, उसके बाद हम आते हैं कि what can be the potential solutions for the MVP, right? What can be the potential solution? So the first solution that I thought of, can sellers upload local vet basically means veterinary doctor recent prescription, which would be very easy, which can be verified, because obviously whosoever has a pet has to go to a doctor, right? So most farmers have pets. Is there a way they can essentially then put across their recent prescription of the veterinary doctor and just put across over there? Second, can they also put the Aadhaar of the vet so that I know, is the pet vet even legit or verified as a user? Then third thing, which is coming from the key, you need consistent delivery, right? Can we start with a local warehouse model, which is very area of city specific, so that we don't have to essentially bear the delivery cost? Or if we have to bear the delivery cost, that is only on large purchases. That is there. Okay. Third is, then essentially we saw that because discovery is a pain point in terms of supply, because I only can go to one person and buy from there. So there has to be a behavior. Can I build easy onboarding of suppliers so that I can bring more and more suppliers and automatically more demands roll in and you have more options to buy pets, right? Can we also start thinking about credit options which can be linked to a bank account for large purchases, or even options of Jan Dhan credit? And simultaneously, can we also start thinking on the lines of small community with questions related to growth to put or driven by UGC? But UGC basically means user generated content. UGC, basically people can put across, okay, I faced this problem and I essentially solved it like this, right? So मैंने क्या किया, मैंने अभी फीचर भी डिसाइड नहीं किया. मैंने बोला कि क्या ये पोटेंशियल सॉल्यूशंस हो सकते हैं. नाउ गाइस, यू गिव मी सम मोर पोटेंशियल सॉल्यूशंस प्लीज. Rahul has written, can I use AI to identify and disease the health of pet? I can take photographs of the pet and essentially decide that based on the photo of the pet, I can give a 70% ki 70% your pet is healthy, 40% your pet is healthy, something like that. Very cool. Chat pet, very nice idea, Abhinav. Pet health card which shows their medical history, right? Okay, based on pet breed, checklist of different disease and precautions. Very cool, can be done. All-rounder BA makes so much sense. What I want to all of you guys to realize is that in the MVP, why have I written the most easiest solutions? Because I don't want to build something very long term, right? Because I want to make it successful at a very, very threshold level, right? So I told uploading a pet subscription is very easy, right? Simultaneously, adding Aadhaar is very easy. Local warehouse model is very easy. Easy profile onboarding is very easy. Credit options are like an API integration away. So it's like very easy. Community can be made on WhatsApp, which can be integrated in your app. So there is no difference in like user onboarding, or there is a habit forming thing that we are building across, right? So यहाँ पे please start thinking on the lines that you have to think about the most easy features to implement. Now, if the interviewer says, can you make it slightly more detailed? Then you start thinking of the long-term features. Make sense? After we build the solutions, we essentially come to prioritize those solutions, right?